Hello guys, yep, I'm back with another recipe. Most of the time we're up north when we're doing the videos, but it's that time of year again, so we're not very busy up north. So I probably will be making more recipes for you guys. Now this recipe is an amazing soft batch peanut butter recipe, and I can't wait to tell you the story on how I came across this cookie recipe accidentally. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back and we're going to get started right in on the recipe ingredients. So if Larry will look here, we have 1 cup of creamy peanut butter. You hear my oven in the background is saying it's warm now. And we have 1 cup of packed brown sugar. We have 1 cup of white sugar. We also have a cup of butter softened. It's 1 cup of butter and that's equal to 2 sticks. We also have 2 eggs. And here's a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of baking soda. And then we're going to use 1 teaspoon of vanilla flavoring. And over here there is 2 1/4 cups of flour. And here there is a 1/2 cup of Reese's Pieces. This is enough for about 5 to 6 pieces to go on top of your cookies when you take them out of your oven right while they're hot. Now, as you can see, I use the Reese's Pieces peanut butter brand chips. I'm going to tell you right now, do not use the off-brand because I tried the off-brand and they don't work. And the last ingredient here is about a 1/2 cup of sugar, and we're going to use this 1/2 cup of sugar to roll your cookie dough peanut butter balls in right after we finish putting them together. Now let's get started. Okay, I have here this KitchenAid, and I didn't think that I would use this very often, but I love how this comes together. So the first thing we're going to do here, we're going to cream in the peanut butter. Put that in there. Make sure I get it all out. I don't want to have a little bit lacking. Okay, and then we're going to add in the cup of brown sugar. And then we're going to add in the cup of white sugar. And then we're going to add in the cup of softened butter. Remember, the softened butter equals to 2 sticks of butter. Okay, now we're going to mix this up. I'm going to put it on low, and it only takes a couple of minutes to mix this up nice and creamy, and then I'll be right back. Okay, our 2 minutes are up. And as you can see, it's nice and creamy. The next thing we're going to do is add in the eggs one at a time. And one of the other things I want to mention to make sure you don't forget is to scrape down the sides periodically, maybe every 30 or 40 seconds, scrape down the sides. And then let that mix. You can put it on medium and let the eggs mix. Mixing the eggs takes very, very short time, so you don't have to worry about doing that very long. And now I'm going to add in the other egg. Let that mix for about 20-30 seconds till it's nice and creamy. As you can see, that's mixing nice and creamy. Now while I'm doing this, I'm going to stop so that I can scrape down the sides. You want to remember to do that. Take the time to scrape down the sides, and you only have to do this once or twice during the time that your beater's beating that up. Just once or twice will do it. And then let that mix up again. And now that's actually all you need right there. That's thoroughly mixed. Now we're going to add in the flour ingredients, but there's something that I wanted to mention about this. The flour mixture has, as I said, a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of baking powder. Now you want to add your baking soda and your baking powder to your flour mix. You want to mix this up thoroughly. Take at least 30 to 40 seconds to mix that up. Now, I want you to know also, there was a particular time when I was making peanut butter cookies, and I did not add the soda and the baking powder to the flour. I actually waited until I got the flour mixed into the peanut butter, and then I added the soda and salt. Now, I've seen lots of recipes where they actually add the soda, salt, or baking powder. Now, we don't have any salt in this recipe, but I have seen them where they mix the salt, soda, and baking powder right into the wet ingredients. But my experience has been where it actually, I could taste like clumps in different areas in the peanut butter cookies where there was too much soda or too much salt. So now I just completely mix the baking soda and baking powder up in the flour, and then I add it to my bowl. So what we're going to do here next is take a little bit of flour at a time. You don't want too much, because this one thing I've learned about the KitchenAid, it'll blow flour everywhere if you turn it on too high. So we're just going to put about a cup in there, or actually that's a half a cup. Lock that up and then let that mix that up. Now this is going to take probably about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 minutes to get that all mixed up, guys. So I will mix that up and I'll be back. Okay, guys. Now our mixture with that 1/2 cup of flour mixture is pretty creamy. But the next thing you want to do before you add any more flour is get a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, add that in there, and then you can continue on. But you mix that before you add any more flour. That's only going to take probably about, I don't know, 20 seconds. It won't take more than that. And then we'll add more flour. It's nice and creamy. That's good enough, the mix of the vanilla. So now we're going to add some more flour. And I'm only adding this smaller amounts is because if you add too much flour with the KitchenAid, I usually have flour everywhere. So you just want to take your time. See there? If you turn it up too high, it will go everywhere. But you can mix it slowly. And then once it gets the flours pretty much in there, then you can turn that up to medium. That's exactly what I just did. All right, guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish adding all the flour, and then I'll be back to finish this recipe for you. Okay. Now we're at the point where I want to show you how to make these soft batch cookies. The one thing I want you to remember, I said at the beginning of the video that there was a secret. And actually, it wasn't a secret. It was an accident. When I was making these cookies, I had been searching for a soft batch peanut butter cookie, and I had tried so many different recipes. And they just weren't soft enough. So I came up with this idea. I said, Joyce, just put in maybe 1/4 cup less flour just to try it out. And that's exactly what I did. So this recipe is actually 1/4 cup less flour. Now, here's the next thing I want you to remember. As you can see, here's the cookie dough. Now, at this point, you can actually pop on your oven if you haven't already preheated it. Preheat it at 350, and by the time your oven is done preheating, you can take this out of the refrigerator, which means you're going to set this in the refrigerator for 5 minutes. That's all you need, and I have done that. And that causes the dough to kind of set up a little better, because if you handle it before then it's kind of sticky. So you just want to take a heaping teaspoon, dump it in your flour mixture. Roll that around. I should have rolled that first, but I'll show you on the next one. I got some started over here. And I'm making up about 12 at a time because that's what's going to fit on my cookie sheet, about 12 at a time. So I'm going to take that, roll that up. You can handle it. It's not too sticky, not too tacky. Roll it in your sugar and put it on the plate. And again, I'm going to do about 12 of those because my cookie sheet will hold about 12 this size. Another thing, this recipe is supposed to make about 4 dozen cookies. Of course, that depends on the size that you make them. So you might get 4 dozen, you might get a little less, and if you make them pretty tiny, you'll probably get more than that. But again, we just roll those cookie dough balls in sugar. I'm going to do one more. It's real simple. Like I said, take about a heaping teaspoonful, roll that dough, roll it in sugar, and I'm putting it on a plate. Now we're going to take this over here and we're going to place these on the cookie sheet. You're going to take your fork, just the tip of it, and you're going to press that out. Just like that. I'm not good at making the crisscrosses. I just put the crosses on there, flatten it out a bit. And we're going to add the rest. As I said, I use about 12 per cookie sheet. And as you can see, that's really, really simple. Just remember that when you finish with your dough, you pop it in the refrigerator for 5 minutes. You don't have to leave it longer than that. That's about the time it takes for your oven to preheat. And then we roll them out, put a crisscross on them, and then you're going to bake these in your oven for 6 to 7 minutes, no longer than 7 minutes. Now, they're going to look like they're not done, but they are done, I assure you. So make sure you remove them from your oven by 7 minutes, no longer. Pop that into the oven, set your timer for 7 minutes, and voila. Now, I'm going to let these cook, and then I'm going to come back and show you the most amazing soft batch cookies. Be right back. Guys, the cookies are coming out now. As you can see, they look perfectly beautiful. Now remember, this part is the fun part. As soon as it comes out of the oven while it's still hot, be careful. Do not burn yourself. Make sure you don't get too close. But you can drop the Reese's Pieces onto your cookies, and you can use as few as you want or as many as you want. 5 should be sufficient. You don't want to overdo it because then you'll get too much sweet taste. But I usually put about 5 or 6 on mine. As you can see, they get a little bit bigger once you bake them, but you just drop these on there. And after you put your Reese's Pieces on there, remember to let your cookies cool for about 5 minutes before you put them onto the paper towel. Otherwise, they are nice and soft while they're hot. As most of you know, they will break. So make sure you give them at least 5 minutes to cool before transporting them onto your paper towel, because I've got some paper towels set up over here on my table, and that's where I'm going to put these at. But while I'm showing you this, you can see how simple that is. Just put your few chips in there. Be careful not to burn yourself. Press them down just a little bit. Don't press them a lot because they're really hot and the chips will kind of melt into the cookie, as you will see as soon as you put them on there. And now that I've gotten all my chips on there, I want to take you over here, if Larry will turn around, and see the cookies that we've already done. Okay, these are the ones that I took out about 10 minutes ago. They're nice, they're not fragile, that's why you have to let them sit up, because if you don't, they will break. But I want you to see, watch how soft they are. Watch this. Absolutely amazing. Now, if I can chew this up fast enough, I want to tell you a story about why I know that these are the most amazing peanut butter cookies ever. My daughter, my oldest daughter, she doesn't eat peanut butter, and she does not like peanut butter cookies. Every holiday, I make cookies, all the different varieties, for Christmas presents for a lot of my family members because they love my baking. But she came over one day when I was making some peanut butter cookies, and she sat down, and I know that she doesn't like peanut butter cookies, so it didn't even, faze me that she might want to try one. And she said, "Mom, those smell so good." I said, "But you don't even eat peanut butter cookies. Every year you only ask for chocolate chip." She said, "Well, let me try one." So I gave her one and she tried it. Long story short, her favorite cookie now is peanut butter cookies. And she said, "Mom, don't make me anything else. I just want the peanut butter cookies." So she started to take the cookies off the table, and she must have eaten at least 5 or 6 that day. But from then on, her favorite cookie was peanut butter cookies. So I hope that you guys like this video. If you like our videos, like and subscribe. And I hope to see you again real soon. Happy holidays. I hope you have had a great Thanksgiving. Bye now. Okay, guys, there is the finished product.